The Valley of the Sun, the Phoenix Suns, were an expansion team in 1968 when they came into the NBA, bringing NBA basketball to Arizona, a state that didn't really have much of a Big Four sports base. But hockey wouldn't come till 1996, baseball wouldn't come till 1998, and football wouldn't come till 1988. So the Suns were basically the Arizona sports cocktail for 20 plus years. So anyway, the Suns actually had a chance in 1969 to pick up the best college draft person ever, and that was Bill Walton of UCLA. Sorry, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for UCLA. It was down to a coin flip between Milwaukee and Phoenix. Milwaukee won the coin flip and got El Sindor. Phoenix went with Neil Walk as center, but Neil Walk suffered a terrible career and was paralyzed later in life. Phoenix would actually remember as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was just a superstar. The Suns made a rally in 1976, taking care of the Golden State Warriors, who were the surprise champions of the NBA themselves. After taking down Washington in the 75 final, Golden State thought it was an easy breezy Western final to face possibly Boston, a more bitter team. But Phoenix shocked Golden State in 7 games. So the Suns would take on the Celtics. And although the Suns lost in game 6, lost game 6 in the finals, they still had the most memorable finals contest in history. 1976 game 4, when all of a sudden it was just mass panic. And few people forget about Garfield Hurd's turnaround shot at the buzzer in double overtime to send the game to a triple overtime. But the Celtics won that game. That game actually was controversial in a sense because of how people took advantage of an infinite timeout loop. Phoenix literally took a timeout after Boston took a 1 point lead. Called timeout knowing that they would be penalized with Boston getting a free throw. Boston would have the ball. Boston would make it a 2 point game, and then Phoenix would get the ball at mid-court. So obviously the NBA took that rule away, basically saying that's 2 free throws, and the team that gets the bonus gets the ball back. So Phoenix would not have had a chance and all that. So anyway, that strategy failed. Phoenix in the late 70s, early 80s would not really be that big of a deal, though, too. They had good players come and go and all that. But the Suns caught fire, pardon the pun, in 1992 when they picked up Charles Barkley from Philadelphia for Jeff Hornacek, among others. So anyway, the Suns used Charles Barkley to his advantage, and old Charlie basketball fantastically led the Suns to the 1993 NBA Finals, where they would take on the Chicago Bulls. The Suns famously were down 2 games to none to the LA Lakers in the first round, but Coach Paul Westphal of Phoenix basically said, "We're not worried. We have another game on Sunday. We'll win there. We'll win Wednesday, and then we'll go back next Sunday home and win." And he was a prophet. The Suns got to the finals against the Bulls, and even though the Bulls got the better of them in Game 6 thanks to a 3-ball from Johnny Paxson, Game 3 was also another triple overtime thriller that Phoenix won and did not win the title with. A triple overtime. Charles Barkley put up 55 points, and the Suns were huge. Dan Marley from the 3-point line was fantastic. Danny Ainge as well. So anyway, the Suns in the 90s would catch a bit of happiness when they picked up Steve Nash in a trade and picked up Amari Stoudemire as a free agent, pairing them with Jason Kidd, who was supposed to be a decent player for Phoenix, but then he went to the Nets. The Suns looked good. They had Sean Marion, they had a coastal group of people. Few can forget Steve Nash's assistance in helping Amari Stoudemire win the dunk contest in 2005. And saying Steve Nash is the MVP. Steve Nash was MVP back-to-back years. But the Suns sadly could not get to the finals based on Steve Nash's performance. The Lakers in 2006 were basically the reason why. As the Suns choked that series. The Suns looked good. They were fan-fucking-tastic. But in the end, it was just all for naught, and the Phoenix Suns never reached the pinnacle. Phoenix now has a few key pieces. I forget who the main scorer for Phoenix is. I was a grill check, but I'm wrong. But anyway, Phoenix has got a bright young future. So let's talk about the what if. And the what if for the Suns would have been 93, but remember the rule. No finals losers. So basically, you make the finals, you're disqualified because I don't want to redo the finals. All that. I want to make myself work hard. So we got ourselves the 1995 Phoenix Suns. You may be asking, why the fuck are you doing the 95 Phoenix Suns? Simple. The 95 Suns were hot, and they looked good against the defending Western Conference champion Houston Rockets. Well, defending champion Rockets at all. So anyway, the Suns looked good, but somehow they blew a 3-1 series lead in the second round against the defending champions, and it was sealed by Mario Ellio's kiss of death three-pointer. Houston went on to win the 95 NBA title. So the Phoenix Suns will have to deal with it. But of course, this what if is that they get the benefit of a doubt. They will take on the San Antonio Spurs in the third round, aka the Western Finals. So whoever wins will play the Orlando Magic in the NBA Finals. Because keep in mind that Houston is gone because, they won 95, but of course they got ruined by the what if. So Phoenix and San Antonio will have to battle it out for a title shot. All right, so the 59-23 Suns take on the 62-20 San Antonio Spurs. Suns have KJ, Danny Ainge, Dan Marley, Charles Barkley, and Danny Manning. Danny Manning? Against the Spurs with Avery Johnson, Finny Del Negro, Sean Elliott, Dennis Rodman, David Robinson. So Dennis Rodman played on that team before bolting for Chicago. But the Spurs and Suns fought tooth and nail in the fourth quarter. With about 57 seconds left, Danny Manning made a layup. David Robinson gets fouled by Wesley Person. He makes 2 free throws. Kevin Johnson is fouled. Person leaves for the Suns, and Perry comes in. KJ makes his 3 throws to make it 109-108. Robinson is fouled by Danny Manning. Person comes in for KJ. Robinson misses the free throws, but Danny Manning misses a jumper from the right side, and the Suns lose 109-108. Close game, though. 23 from Dan, 22 from Barkley. Danny Manning with 14. Wesley Person, 6 points in 29 minutes off the bench. Danny Ainge only plays 12 minutes. Here, Elliot Perry, 22 minutes. AC Green, remember him? Mr. Ironman. Danny Shanes. Joe Klein from Arkansas. And Trevor Ruffin. San Antonio counted with 28 from the Admiral. Sean Elliott, 22. Dennis Rodman, 13. Terry Cummings was on that team. Willie Anderson, Chuck Person. Remember him from Auburn? The best Auburn player not named Mr. Charles Barkley. Doug Rivers played for that team. I think he played for the Magic in 95. And J.R. Reed. So yeah, Doug Rivers, he's a better coach than player. Game 2 sees a 40-point fourth quarter by the Spurs as they crushed the Suns 117-92 to take a 2-0 series lead. 19 from KJ. Trevor Ruffin, 16 points in 10 minutes. I don't know where this guy came from, but man, that's amazing. They also had Wayman Tisdale, the star from Oklahoma back in the 80s, Richard Dumas, and Antonio Lane from Duke, if memory serves me right. San Antonio, 28 from Robinson, 24 from Elliott. Rodman, 14. They had Chris Whitley. Moses Malone played for that team? Wow, Moses Malone lasted a long time. Jack Haley, Howard Isley, and Corey Crowder. Moses Malone, my God. He's a fucking legend. Spurs with a 2-0 lead in the series. And it didn't get any better as they came back from a few-point deficit to win in the fourth quarter. 44 from the Admiral, 22 from Shawnee Elliott, 14 from Avery Johnson. Doc Rivers, no points in 14 minutes. The Suns picked up 24 from Charles Barkley and 15 from Wesley Person, but in the end, nothing doing. Even though my boy Joe Klein got only 1 bucket. So the Spurs look like they're going to sweep the Suns. And indeed they do. So, man, the Suns, that was even close. So they lose the scenario to the Spurs. 116-102. 42 from the big man, Dave Robinson. Dennis Rodman, 18 points. Chuck Person with 11. There's one tiny problem, though. 19 points from Trevor Ruffin in 10 minutes. Wait. Wesley Person, 18 points. Barkley was just shut down. There's one tiny problem, though. Even though that this ends the Suns scenario, this doesn't completely end everything. Because remember, Houston won in 95, and they were victimized by the what if of the Suns. So, we got ourselves a battle. Spurs and Magic for the 95 championship. Yeah, you got to remember that. And the Spurs have home field with 62 wins. Donald Royal, my ass. Dennis Scott for Donald Royal. I don't even know who Donald Royal really is. So Penny, Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott, Horace Grant, and Shaq for the Magic. Avery, Donagra, Elliott, Rodman, Robinson for the Spurs. Game 1 sees the Magic come out on top 107-103. 36 from Shaq. 18 from Penny. They had Donald Royal. They had Anthony Bowie, Anthony Advent, Anthony Rollins. No, just kidding. Tree Rollins, Brooks Thompson, and Brian Shaw. The Spurs had 35 from David Robinson, but in the end it was Shaq who won the battle of the big man. Game 2 saw the Spurs come back with a 97-89 win. 22 from Shaq, 18 from Penny. The Spurs, 22 from David Robinson. Elliott with 17, Rodman with 14. 22 rebounds, though. That's amazing. Series tied at 1. Then you got yourself the Magic by 10, 105-95. 26 from David Robinson, but no one else on his team could stop Shaq or Horace Grant, who put up 51 combined points. Brooks Thompson, I wonder where he came from. At college. The Magic beat the Spurs 104-96. So Orlando has a 3-games-to-1 series lead. Dennis Rodman put up 25 rebounds. That's pretty good. 23 points from David Robinson. The Magic, 36 from Shaq. He was unstoppable. 14 for 23. 8 for 13 from the free throw line. At least it wasn't more than 50%. So anyway, Shaq. Oh yeah, it's 2-3-2, isn't it? Yeah, 2-3-2. And the Magic win in the fourth quarter, 95-93. So the Orlando Magic would have had the title. In the final minutes, it was 91-86 when Robinson made a turnaround. Then Penny got a dunk from Nick Anderson. David Robinson made a 93-90. Penny got fouled. Shaq in for Rollins. Penny makes both free throws, and the Spurs basically had nothing. Dennis Rodman got fouled by Horace Grant on a three-pointer, but it doesn't matter, as the Spurs lost the game 95-93. So the Magic would have been the champions. Well, 27 from David Robinson, 27 from Shaq. Shaq knew what to do. Donald Royal as well. So anyway, so the Magic would have won this one. Unfortunately, Orlando can't really claim the 95 as their what if because of the rule. They made the finals. We can't have a team that made the finals. And Orlando comes up next. So, yeah, see what happens.